Hey guys, welcome to this video where I set up my weekly spreads for the Andorra month of February. I've already done it, but I'll show you the footage of that in a minute. But first I wanted to get onto choosing the options for the month of March to come. So we can throw away our little Andorra because we've done her or him, and he was tricky. He was a little bit tricky. So what I've done is I've actually decided to tweak the countries that I've put in these jars just a little bit. So I've had a lot of requests for splitting the UK up into the 4 countries that they represent, because they are countries within countries. So yeah, I've had a lot of people asking for like Wales and stuff, and I think it would be really cool to treat them separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out 3 of the smaller ones that I just think I would struggle to find a lot of content for, like historically. So I'm sorry if that offends anyone. I don't mean to be offensive at all. I just want to make sure I have enough content to get excited about the setups that I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the Maldives, Liechtenstein and Luxembourg from the options. And I'm going to replace them with Scotland, Wales, Ireland's already in there, and England. So I have them here. I'm popping them back in the jar. So I've got England going in the over 30 million. I've got Czechia, or the Czech Republic. I'm going to add that one in because that's also been requested, and I don't really know how I missed that in the first round. So that's going into the over 8 millions. And then Scotland and Wales, I'm going to throw into the under 8 million. I hope that all made sense. That was a big speech. So I'm going to put all those in now, and then we can start the choices.
Scotland and Wales.
Okay, so we now have our revised country options. Let's start the choosing. All right, so first one, lucky dip time. We've got Turkey. Turkey is our option 1. And we'll go for the middle population country. And we've got Honduras. Hope I'm saying that right. And then the last one for our smallest population range. Not looking. And I got one. New Zealand. Ooh. So they are our 3 choices. So now it's up to you guys to help me decide which one. We've got Turkey, Honduras, or New Zealand. So please feel free to place a vote down below for which one you want to see in March. And for now, I'll pop Papua New Guinea and Vietnam back into the pots for the next choices. So please vote down below, and now we will get on with the setup for the weekly spreads for February. Okay, so now it's time to get started on the weekly setups. There's only 3 of them for February, and let's continue on our journey through Andorra. So this first weekly, I'm going to focus on a very impressive sculpture that I was really excited to find right here in Andorra la Vella, because it's by one of my favorite surrealist artists who's from Spain, Salvador Dali. Now, what I was amazed about this piece is that it stands in the middle of Andorra la Vella without any security and no fences. So you can walk right up to this giant sculpture, I think it's about 5 meters high, and take your photo right there with it, which really doesn't happen that often in art. So I was pretty amazed, to be honest, to find that this is, one, not vandalized, and still standing there all these years later. So that was really impressive. Now the sculpture itself is called, in French pronunciation, I'll try my best, Le Noblesse de Temps, which means the nobility of time. And the sculpture itself, I just love his dripping clocks and stuff. I think they're really, they really interest me. So I'm just sort of illustrating that here on this front page. And I'm using my typical black and gold for this setup. I wanted to keep it quite minimal and just really try and focus on capturing a likeness to the subject, rather than worrying about too many mixed media and things like that. So I'm just using my Pigma Micron to sketch out the sculpture itself, and then I'm using some line shading here and there just to add a little bit of dimension and try and sort of visibly show the folds in the sculpture itself, make it a little bit more 3D. Now I know I've mentioned before how much I like Salvador Dali's artwork in the past on the channel, but I don't think I've ever shared with you guys that many years ago now, I think it was in 2007, My then boyfriend, my husband now, but we were in Spain on holiday, and we actually were so close to going to see the Dali museum because we were in Girona, which is just south and east to Andorra. And I never realized how close we were until I've just been researching Andorra, so we could have really just popped over there. That would have been amazing. But we just happened to miss the bus that was taking us to the Dali Theatre Museum, which is in Figueres. And what a funny story actually is how we got there, because when you're from Australia, you hear of Barcelona, but you don't hear, and hear of Madrid, but you don't hear many of the smaller places around Spain. And we thought we had booked tickets to go to Barcelona, and we did it really quickly. We were down at an internet cafe in London, and we had to book this flight. So we booked this flight to what we thought was Barcelona, and then later on we realized that our tickets said the airport was Barcelona and then in brackets Girona, which really threw us off. And it turns out it was an entire 2-hour journey away from Barcelona. So we never got to Barcelona, but we ended up getting to Girona. And let me tell you, that was the happiest accident ever. I loved Girona. We loved it. So we stayed in a place in Costa Brava called Tossa de Mar, and it's got an old town right on the cusp of the beach area. And I just remember going to, some awesome restaurants. I think because it wasn't as touristy as a lot of the spots, we were able to really experience a bit of the culture a bit better. But we just took some bus tours, went to the beach, went to the restaurants around, and witnessed some of the awesome dancing and Spanish sort of guitar singers and things in the restaurants. It was just one of the best holidays that we can remember. It was awesome. But I just thought I'd share that little piece of information because it was taking me back thinking about how close we were to the Salvador Dali Museum and, just being around where he was from, things like that. But so happy accidents are great. Sometimes when you're traveling, that's what I love about travel. If you don't plan everything and you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants, you will usually end up in a happy place. And now I'm really yapping, so I'm going to stop right now and continue on with the spread. So as you can see, I'm now on to using my gold pen, my favorite thing of all, and just really brought this page to life, I think. It was, just a bit too flat without the gold, but I've just used that as a pop of color on the clock, and then also used it for my daily setup. So just as the grid markings, and I just tried to reflect that sort of leaf from in the statue into how I put the numbers for each day. So that's how the first spread turned out, and then we can move on to the next one. So the next weekly picture, I decided to draw a Romanesque church that's in Andorra la Vella as well, called Sant Esteve, or the Church of Saint Stephen. Now, the building itself was built in the 12th century, and then a lot of the refurbs were done in the 20th century. So although it's, extremely old, it has been refurbed a bit, but I just loved the look of it. I think the design of the church itself was just really interesting to me and pretty. So I just thought that would make a nice little piece in my weekly spread. So I've put it down in the bottom right-hand corner, and just using the same tools that I've used before, which is the Pigma Micron, and just sort of sketching out the building as much as I can. And then where this beautiful foliage was at the front, I've just used my gold pen to sort of highlight that. And I think by keeping it simple and trying to add in as much of texture that I can, I think it turned out looking quite nice. And so once I was done with the drawings and I had labelled out my days of the week, I felt it was lacking something. I just needed a little bit more gold. So I added some of the sparkles that I like to put around with my gold pen, and then just added a little touch of washi tape. And I think that just finished the spread off nicely. So it's just like a skinny washi tape that's from the washi tape shop. I've just put that across the top and the bottom, and I love this washi tape. It just finishes it off beautifully. And now we're moving on to the final page of the February weeklies. As I said, this is a small month, so on the third month, I wanted to exhibit something about more of the Catalan culture. And I know that in Spain and Andorra as well, they are very passionate about music and dance. So there's this dance that I had discovered along my research called the Sardana, which I feel like I've seen in movies. It's where a group of people will link hands in a circle and they will follow a choreographed number of steps sideways within that circle as you're facing inwards to everyone. And the dance lasts anywhere from 5 minutes to 13 minutes. And it's been around in their history since the late 19th century. So it's been around a while. And it looks very fun. And what I really like about it is that they say it's really, really inclusive. So it means that anybody can do it at any time, of any age and ability, as long as they've got a familiarity with the Sardana. They can just drop their coat and bag in the center of the circle and join in. So to illustrate this, I wasn't really sure of what kind of picture I would be able to do, but I did find this one shot that was very sweet, and it was a bunch of children doing the Sardana in their traditional dress. So as soon as I saw the traditional outfits and their hand holding, it was quite a warm shot. So I thought that would be perfect to illustrate how inclusive it is and sort of brings everyone together. So I've done it once again just using my black and gold, and just in case anyone wasn't understanding that it was a dance, I thought I'd throw in some musical notes and the music bars around in the gold, just adding to that sort of this is music vibe. And that brings us to the end of the weeklies for February 2021. Although this month was tricky finding the right content, I really enjoyed doing all the research and learning a bit more. Well, actually learning everything that I didn't know about this little but beautiful country. And if you're not signed up to my newsletter, I thought I'd just quickly let you know that my next week's video is going to be a new series that I've started called Art on Cue, where I create an art piece based on a cue word that has been suggested by you guys in my community posts tab. And this month's Art on Cue word is spa. So feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to check that video out next week. I'm thinking it might be nice to tie it into Valentine's Day as well. And if anyone else is feeling inspired to do their own creation relating to spa, feel free to share it with me on Instagram by tagging me at Torryn Marie Art and use the hashtag #ArtOnCue. I would love to see it and perhaps even share it with the community. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me set up the weeklies. It was a short month this month, and I look forward to hearing your votes in the comments down below for which country to do next month. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye. I like those choices. They're good.